Hi, this is Jason Fielder with the Daily Forex Report for October 14th. Currently looking at the US-Japanese yen pair. This particular pair closed lower today. It did move much lower, coming close to some previous, almost hitting some previous resistance that would now be support. We are looking for this pair to continue moving sideways with the bias that is sideways. Look for it to potentially move as high as 90.39, possibly as low as 88.18. Look for some resistance around 90.07 and look for some support around 88.70. Now switching to the Euro-USD pair, this particular pair closed even higher today. We are looking for this pair to continue moving higher with a bias to the upside. Look for this pair to potentially move as high as 1.5024, possibly as low as 147.69. Look for some resistance around 149.50 and look for some support around 148.75 in this pair. Now switching to the pound US dollar pair, this particular pair closed up today. It is moving sideways with the bias that is sideways. Look for this pair to potentially move as high as 1.6119, possibly as low as 157.94. Look for some resistance around 160.50 and look for some support around 15900. Okay, now switching over to the US Swiss. This pair closed down today. It is biased to the downside and is moving down. We are looking for this pair to potentially go as high as 1.0287, possibly as low as 10066. Look for some resistance around 10187 and look for some support around 10125. Now, as far as news announcements goes, tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, we have the U.S. releasing their consumer price index, excluding food and energy, for the month of September. Consensus is that has held at 0.1%, which would be good news for the U.S. dollar. We also have the U.S. releasing their initial jobless claims report for October 10th. The consensus on that is that the jobless claims have dropped, but not by much, from 521K to 520K. So not a huge drop there. If it's much lower, that would be really good news for the U.S. dollar. Well, let me show you kind of what I'm looking at over the next couple of sessions. We have the U.S. Swiss. If you notice, we are currently on the day time frame. Let me go ahead and draw this out. We have the low of what is this past session that we just got out of, and we have this low. Basically, between those two, we have about 120 pips roughly there. And what I'm looking to do is go ahead and short that on the low during this next session, putting my stop loss about 75 pips basically right above this high. So let's go ahead and zoom or drop down to the day time frame, take a look at what that looks like. Get a little bit clearer picture of it when you're on the day time frame. But okay, 112 pips there, and we have roughly 75 pips from this low. So what I'd recommend you do, let me go ahead and drop this on here, is look to short around the 1.0124 level. Put your stop loss at 10192, and then take your take profit at 1.0013. I think this is a great setup. You're exiting 13 pips above a round number, which is always good. You're getting a good chunk of the market, and we have clear support and resistance levels that we're pulling this trade from, which is also another very good thing to do on all your trades. So if you look over here, we still have support and resistance playing that out as well as here. So that is what I'm looking at over this next session. I do believe we could get that large of a run. I mean, when you look at today's run, we had from open to close 65 pips, and from open to the low about 85. So it's possible that we could get a run that far. As far as the range goes, here's one that's a little bit bigger, 80 pips, but definitely keep an eye on it. We could, 80 pips would get us right about here. At that point, I'd definitely go to break even, and then possibly the next session would get us the rest of the way. Well, that about does it for today. Until next time, this is Jason Fielder. Good trading.